Hi, this is Professor Ellen Genovese. I'm the course coordinator for Bio 113, and I'd like to give you a tour of your Blackboard shell. Just note that the resources set by your instructor may slightly vary. When you first access your Blackboard shell, you will see Mercer Online Student Success resources. This includes a link to tutor.com. Tutor.com is a 24/7 online tutoring service. This is something that you may want to take advantage of. There's also a list of minimum technical requirements and skills to take an online class and some student success resources. If you have any issues using Blackboard, feel free to reach out to your instructor or Mercer Online. The next tab shows course information. There is a link to the college website detailing academic integrity policies. And then we have an academic integrity statement, which is really a quiz, which is worth 2 extra credit points. So please read through the academic integrity policies and complete the quiz. A very important resource is actually the syllabus for the class. It has the usual type of information, right? It has your instructor's name, their email, their phone number, when they have office hours or times you can drop by if you need any extra assistance. Also, feel free to email your instructor to set up a time, perhaps that's outside their normal office hours, where they can accommodate you, right? So we have the course description, right? Some important dates when the add drop date is. This is a fall course shell, so it's indicating when Thanksgiving recess is, last day classes, and when your grades are available. The required materials for this class, the textbook is actually customized excerpts of concepts of biology. This is published by OpenStax and is free. So you have free textbook. You have already purchased your lab kit. It's included as a course fee on your tuition. Your instructor will indicate when you can come to campus and pick up your lab kit. You will not need your lab kit for labs 1 and 2, so you can start those right away. And lab kits are not given out till after the add drop deadline. And the reason for this is if you drop the class before the add drop deadline, you receive a 100% refund on your tuition, which would include your course fee. And so now you have like a free lab kit that you really don't need, right? Because you're no longer taking the class. So once add drops over, we have a good idea of who is actually registered and is going to complete the course. You'll receive instructions where to come and pick up your lab kit. So there's some expectations for student success. Please make sure you read through these. Right, some guidelines on written discussion board posts. Okay, for my sections, we will be using Harmonize, which gives you opportunity to create video posts. So you research your topic, and then you'll give a short video post providing your answer. Okay, you can work at your assignments at any pace. Okay, there are, however, hard unit deadlines. Okay, first, before we get into that, first you're going to see the scoring, how the class is scored. You drop the 2 lowest lab assignments and 2 lowest lecture quizzes. There's plenty of opportunities for you to earn extra credit if you happen to miss one of these assignments. We have some more academic integrity information. Okay. And here's what I'm saying very, very important is the course schedule, because this gives you an idea of when the deadlines are. Okay, they're just hard deadlines at the end of the unit. So for this particular class, everything for unit 1 is due September 27th at 8 a.m., which 8 a.m. seems like a really weird time. But in the past, I've had students trying to take their unit exam at 11 o'clock at night and something happens and they need to have it reset, and Professor Genovese is definitely sleeping then. So if you have problems the night before the due date, if you email me, I'm an early bird, so I tend to get up before 6, and I'll have time to assist you, reset your exam. You could have everything done by 8 o'clock. So that's the reason why there's a kind of weird 8 o'clock deadline, right? Hard deadline. The only exception kind of is the discussion board. Your initial post is typically due about 3 days before the final deadline, right? You'll also see under laboratory, it'll indicate some supplies that you will need in addition to your lab kit, right? So it might need like a potato or some seltzer water. So this is just so you can plan ahead, right? So I had a student waited until the last minute, is trying to do the DNA extraction lab. 11 o'clock at night, he realized he needed strawberries. He couldn't complete the assignment, right? So it's kind of important that you look through and see the material, right, that you need to complete your labs. Just meet your instructor. Just picture me and Petey, our Python, who lives in our face-to-face laboratory. We actually have another Python named Ocha. So we have our 2 little Python friends. This is an online supply list. This just gives you like kind of a total list, right, of what you need for the various labs. I know this is kind of far out, just, getting started, but the lab 12 on eukaryotic microbes is really easy to set up. But however, you're growing molds and they take about 2 weeks to grow. So you got to make sure that you start this lab at least 2 weeks prior to the end of the semester. Your instructor will definitely post an announcement concerning that. Right, so for my section, we're using Harmonize, and this document kind of gives you the rubric for how your assignments are to be graded. So if your instructor is not using Harmonize, they would have a rubric for a traditional discussion board post, some accessibility statements. Okay, for my class, I run a lab log, right? And the lab log, you earn 2 extra credit points for each post, up to maximum of 10 points. Your instructor may have another way for you to interact with your lab mates, right, and earn some extra credit points. All our lecture exams, just the lecture exams, are proctored using HonorLock. So this folder gives you some information on HonorLock. And what is very important, I think, is to take the HonorLock practice test. If you've never used HonorLock before, you want to take the practice test prior to your first exam. You want to verify that you have the correct system requirements, right? Don't wait till, the last minute to take your first test and then realize, that something's wrong with my webcam and I'm not able to do this. Okay. The class is divided into 4 units. So I usually just leave everything open at once. Each folder gives you an idea when the hard deadline is. That after that time, the folder closes. So if you're almost done with an assignment and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to bed, I'll submit it tomorrow morning and you sleep in a bit, right? You're going to miss it, right? Here we have Unit 1 objectives. In my section, because many of you maybe have not used Harmonize before, you'll have an intro post, just you're introducing yourself while you're taking this class, indicating your preferred name, pronoun, and then if you were not a Homo sapien, what organism would you like to be? And you get to include an image of this organism. I have a video link that demonstrates how to use Harmonize. So this gives you an idea to play around with this so that when you're doing something that's, actually graded, right, you know how to use the technology. Right? So there are 3 topics inside Unit 1. All right, now this is what I would do. This is just a suggestion, but it's a very strong suggestion. I would print out the Unit 1 lecture review before I started anything. If you print that out, you can use that as a guide, and to take notes on it as you follow through the various lecture videos. So I think that's a really helpful way to make sure that you're focusing on the correct information that's on the exam. There's also a Quizlet review, right, that has all the exam information on that. So that's a good way to reviewing after you've gone through everything. All right, let's jump into topic 1. Here you'll see you have a reading assignment, right, that's been customized, right? We have the characteristics of life lecture folder, right? So it gets, just got to follow through. There's folders, then there's some folders and folders, right? So you just kind of get used to navigating it. So there's a YouTube lecture presentation. And then during the lecture presentation, you'll see a series of videos. And so the links are below the lecture presentation. So you could stop the lecture presentation when you get to where video is, then click on the video, then kind of go back to it. Just note that the names of the videos may have been changed because there were some real, for instance, there were some really good New York Times videos we used, and they're no longer available for free. So the videos should be all updated, but they may not exactly match what you see in the lecture video. All right, the intro to characteristics of life. Okay, this is the best video of the entire course, right? So I always say, please watch that video. All right, so for the quizzes, I just have after them graded, right? So the videos are kind of optional, but the quizzes are actually graded. They're untimed. You're allowed to attempt. If something happens, your computer crashes, contact your instructor. They could clear your attempt and allow you to try it again, right? See another lecture folder, Click on them. This has a couple videos that are included. Prokaryotic domains, just a very short lecture. There's another quiz. See, that's why if you have the course schedule printed out, you can be checking off the quizzes and labs as you complete them. So the schedule just has all the graded information, right? So now we reached our first lab, right? So we have a lab safety video. There is a lab presentation. This is like a YouTube video that kind of goes through, an introduction to lab, what it's about. There's a couple questions that are in the PowerPoint that are going to ask you, like, length of a test tube. It's 150 millimeters. It has some questions concerning temperature conversions, right? So since you don't have your lab kit yet, you can just kind of Google the temperatures, and it discussed meniscus. So there's a video on meniscus below. So yeah, you can easily get through the first 2 labs without having your lab kit. It gives you extra time to pick it up. What is Archimedes' principle? Yeah, definitely need to watch that. There may have some questions on the lab assignment. Lab assignments are all graded. So this one, I'll just show you this quickly. Start the attempt, right? So there's a variety of questions for you to complete, right? So, this has 1 attempt. Again, you have problems, you need to submit it again, that's fine. The labs are all worth 20 points. So in this case, this one assignment is worth the entire 20 points. That's not always really consistent. For some of the labs, there may be multiple sections. For instance, the biomolecule lab has an assignment on reducing sugars, one on starches and proteins. So just make sure you can kind of add up the points that you complete everything to give you a total of 20 points, right? At the bottom of the folder, again, there's the Quizlet review. There's the, kind of generalized review sheet. Just a reminder about the honor log proctoring requirements. You can see that the lecture exam appears there. Usually it'll show you on the course schedule. Usually the exam's available about 3 days before the due date. All right. Yeah. Okay. We don't want somebody taking the exam on day 1, right, and then relaying all the information to their friends. So usually the exams are limited to about 3 days. Oh, and the questions are pooled. So if you try to do that, you will each get a different set of questions for your test, right? We have the Unit 1 discussion board. It tells you when the initial post is due. It's due the 24th at 8 a.m., right? To be completed with everything else by the 27th, right? For my section, there's always another extra credit assignment. Right at the end, there's a video, and then there is an assignment which has a series of questions, right? So a lot of opportunities to, to get extra credit, okay? And I think the key to being successful in this class is, right, take care of all the little things. Exams are exams. Exams can be difficult, but if you do all the labs, you do all the quizzes, you do all the extra credit, you do the discussion boards, then you're really setting yourselves up for success. So if, you get like a 70 on the exam, but you do well on all the other assignments, that's definitely going to pull up your grade, right? So thank you for listening to me, and I want to wish everyone good luck. Again, you have any questions or concerns, always feel free to reach out to your instructor. We're there to assist you and to make sure you're successful.